We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with some breaking new rumors regarding Roman Reigns heading into the Crown Jewel 2021 pay-per-view event later this month, and more so regarding Roman Reigns' Universal Championship reign. And by all means, it is not the best of news for Roman Reigns' fans and for Roman himself, who has truly had arguably the best Universal title reign in WWE history over 2020 and now into 2021. Now, as we have touched upon in previous videos, heading into the Crown Jewel pay-per-view, there have been a lot of rumors and speculation that Roman's historic Universal title reign is going to be coming to an end, with Brock Lesnar likely to win that championship. And apparently that is looking more and more to be the case as of right now. While Vince McMahon has reportedly been thoroughly impressed with Roman Reigns' work on Friday Night SmackDown over much of the past 2 years, and that Roman has elevated that Universal Championship to a very high level and went on to have a historic title reign, McMahon feels that the time has finally come for Roman Reigns to have a bit of a break from that Universal Championship, and that it is time for Roman to lose the Universal Championship. And apparently Vince doesn't feel that there is any other superstar currently on the roster besides Brock Lesnar who would make logical sense to end Roman Reigns' Universal title reign. Hence the speculation that the Beast Incarnate will in fact be winning the Universal Championship at Crown Jewel later this month. In all honesty, while it could make sense for Roman Reigns to have an even longer title reign, there is no doubt that Brock Lesnar has been getting more fans excited about his latest run in the company with his new intriguing babyface character. And having this new version of Brock Lesnar as the Universal Champion could be very interesting if done the right way, and far more interesting than the typical heel Brock Lesnar from years past, who had fairly boring and uneventful title runs. Brock Lesnar does have a lot of fan support behind him right now with his new character, and since there really is not anyone else on the main roster who would seem logical to defeat Roman Reigns for the championship, it is seeming more and more likely, especially with the new rumors and reports, that Roman will be losing his Universal Championship to Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel. So as of right now, Roman's historic title reign is in huge danger, but it's not as if this would be Roman's last title reign if he does lose to Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel, and it is likely that Roman Reigns would actually be the superstar to win back the title from Brock Lesnar sometime next year in 2022, perhaps at WrestleMania 38. Now let us know your thoughts on the new reports that Vince McMahon feels Brock Lesnar is the perfect superstar to put an end to Roman Reigns' Universal title reign at Crown Jewel, and do you feel like Roman should be losing his championship right now, or should WWE keep that championship on Roman Reigns for a bit longer? Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Now, as many of you are likely aware, during the 2021 WWE Draft, the incredibly popular Liv Morgan was traded from Friday Night SmackDown to Monday Night Raw, and by all means many fans are hoping that Liv Morgan's move over to Raw signals a fresh new start for Liv Morgan and hopefully a big push. While just today Liv Morgan was in the headlines for responding to AEW's Britt Baker on social media, with her not surprisingly being the AEW confirmed messages from fans across Twitter. According to one of our sources, although Liv Morgan has felt fairly underrated and underutilized in WWE over the past while, Liv is reportedly still very happy in WWE and does not have any plans of leaving, at least not in the immediate future. So for the fans worrying that Liv Morgan could be All Elite soon, that doesn't appear to be the case. Now the big rumor right now about Liv Morgan following the WWE draft is that Vince McMahon apparently plans to actually give Liv Morgan a solid push on Monday Night Raw in the women's division, with McMahon feeling like having Liv moved over to Raw kind of gives WWE creative a way to start off fresh with Liv Morgan and begin a gradual rise up the card, not to mention that Liv will likely be able to get more TV time given the fact that Raw is 3 hours. And without question, the response from fans on social media regarding Liv Morgan on Raw has overwhelmingly been met with comments that Liv Morgan deserves to eventually become the Raw Women's Champion in the near future. And while that may seem a bit lofty right now in terms of expectations for Liv on the Raw brand, Vince does apparently plan some big things for Liv Morgan in the near future, and it is very possible that she will at least be a title challenger very soon. Although whether or not Liv Morgan actually wins the Raw Women's Championship is still up in the air right now, but again it would not be a bad idea on WWE's part to truly give Liv Morgan a push into title contention, because the amount of fan support she has right now is simply huge, and it does seem more likely that that will happen now that Charlotte Flair has been moved over to SmackDown, which does give Liv more of a chance to shine. While the first bit of news we shared about Roman Reigns likely losing his Universal Championship to Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel 2021 could definitely be looked upon as bad news for Roman Reigns and good news for Brock Lesnar, we actually have some pretty unfortunate or bad news to share regarding Brock Lesnar, and more so Brock's alliance with Paul Heyman. While there had recently been lots of rumors going around that Paul Heyman was going to be turning on or betraying Roman Reigns and going back to managing Brock Lesnar in the near future, according to a new shocking behind-the-scenes rumor that is reportedly no longer the case. This new rumor goes on to mention that Vince McMahon apparently now feels as though this new babyface version of Brock Lesnar is very interesting all on his own, and that this version of Brock Lesnar does not need Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece, as Brock Lesnar has more of a character now, and is connecting more with fans with his own promos. And the rumor right now is that Paul Heyman may shockingly be staying with the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns for the foreseeable future. And for the fans who wanted to see Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar get back together and reform their alliance, this is certainly bad news, as it does not seem as though WWE want Paul Heyman to be working with this new babyface Brock Lesnar right now. And let us know your thoughts on WWE apparently planning for this babyface version of Brock Lesnar to work on his own, and that Paul Heyman will continue his alliance with the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Should WWE be breaking up Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns and having Paul go back to being the advocate for Brock Lesnar, or do you like the idea of Brock Lesnar working on his own during his latest run? Now, as we had reported in the recent past, former Universal Champion Goldberg made his return to WWE on this past week's edition of Monday Night Raw, with Goldberg once again setting his sights on Bobby Lashley, which was the rumored plan coming out of SummerSlam 2021, with Goldberg having a clear reason to want revenge against Bobby Lashley. Not surprisingly, it has now been announced that Goldberg will be facing off against Bobby Lashley in a no-holds-barred match at Crown Jewel 2021 later this month. And like we had mentioned before, it is not the best of news for Bobby Lashley, as current rumors indicate that this time Goldberg will be defeating Bobby Lashley at Crown Jewel to successfully get his revenge, which means another big loss for Bobby Lashley. As many of you are likely aware, Kevin Owens was drafted from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw this year, but sadly it does not seem as though Kevin Owens is going to be doing very much on Raw following the draft. As many of you are likely aware, Kevin Owens' WWE contract is set to expire in January 2022, and as of right now, all signs point to Kevin Owens walking away from WWE when his contract expires to potentially join AEW. So the consensus behind the scenes in WWE at this point is that WWE are just going to have Kevin Owens put over some superstars in the coming months, knowing that he is going to be leaving. So fans really should not be expecting Kevin Owens to be doing anything very noteworthy on Monday Night Raw, considering he is likely leaving in the near future.